Hey everyone, welcome back to RetroBreak and welcome to part 2 of my quest for the ultimate retro gaming experience. A lot has changed since the first episode, starting off with this brand new 21-inch CRT, which I am incredibly excited about, but it has not all been smooth sailing. So let's take a look at some of the frustrations along this journey so far. So for those of you that haven't seen the first part of this series, I'm basically trying to make my ultimate retro gaming setup. So I want to make this part of the room as easy as possible to play and enjoy retro games, as well as being able to record them and stream them for YouTube and Twitch. This setup used to actually be over here and it was becoming a little bit of a nightmare to actually use because of the distance between that and the rest of the setup. So in part 1 I talked about how I moved everything over, got it all hooked up. So let's take a look at some of the improvements that I've made over the past few weeks, and for the most part I'm incredibly happy with the results so far, but it has not been easy getting to this point. Let's start off by talking about this amazing brand new CRT that I got right here and some of the issues that came along with it. So here it is, an incredible 21-inch CRT by Toshiba. I did want the Sony one, but it was way too expensive, and this Toshiba came at a great price. Just because there's some paint on the side, they knocked a few £100 off what I could see them going for on eBay, so really happy with this. It turned up, I was so excited to try it out, but it didn't come with a TV remote, and the buttons on the front are actually broken, so I was hoping that I'd be able to use these to swap it into AV mode. So you can move the channels up like this, but you can't move them back down, and the volume button just doesn't work at all. So as you can probably guess, I was incredibly upset straight away that I couldn't actually use this TV to play anything until I got myself a remote. So I was really racking my brain trying to think, is there anything I own that will be able to put this into AV mode so I can at least enjoy the consoles without a remote, until I managed to get my hands on one. And that is when I came up with the amazing idea of using the Wii U gamepad, because if you don't know, the gamepad has a TV button right here, and the Wii U is downstairs and it just about reaches here, so I was able to set this up, and if I press input, you can see that it actually changes over to the AV station that I needed. So thanks to the Wii U gamepad's TV button feature, I could actually then switch this over to the right channel in order to play the games. And to prove that that is now working, I'll turn the GameCube on and you can see the amazing GameCube intro screen right there. So I was really happy about that. The picture quality looks insane, but the picture quality didn't look quite that good until a bit more recently. So let me go into the next issue that I encountered. So I'll leave it on this screen while I talk about the next issue that I encountered. So obviously the Wii U gamepad doesn't have any other features other than changing the channel, changing the volume, thankfully, so I could actually adjust the volume, and changing the input, which meant I could get on the AV mode. But it does not have any menu options, and as you can see now, the screen looks perfect. The blacks are nice and black, the vibrant whites in the middle, the colours are all correct. But when I first got the TV, everything was kind of washed out and very faded. It wasn't very bright at all. So I really needed to get access to the menu in the TV in order to change the brightness. So I went on eBay and bought myself a replacement remote, which is this one right here, and they said it was 100% compatible, so I got this remote. I was very excited. I actually, at lunchtime, tried it out before the end of the workday, and the menu button didn't work. It literally didn't do anything that the Wii U gamepad couldn't already do. So that was like £15 down the drain. This wasn't cheap, and it just did not work at all, and I was about to write it off as just a bad set and I would just have to deal with the mismatched colours. But it's still okay because it still looked a lot nicer than the old CRT that I used to have. So for a few days I was using that remote and just playing the games that way, but I still wasn't really happy with the results, and I thought I'd spent so much money on this nice screen, I want it to look good as well. So after a bit more digging online, I found an exact replica of the original remote that came with this. It's not the original remote, it's not an official Toshiba one, but it did actually let me go into the menu. So now I can actually press this and adjust all of the colour, the saturation, the sharpness, everything to the exact spec that I need, and now it looks amazing. So finally, after about 3 weeks of trial and error at this point, I finally found the right remote, I've finally got the settings set up right, and I can now enjoy this TV to its full potential. And wow, it looks incredible, especially for 240p games. I was playing one of the Umihara Kawase games on the PS2 on this TV last night, and it just looks absolutely stunning. In the last episode, I was also complaining about not having the correct cables for the Wii, so I went out and found myself some proper RGB SCART cables, some really nice shielded ones, and the results are absolutely stunning, just as it was with the GameCube. So I've got my sensor bar up there. I'm not at the best angle to show this, but if I come over here, there you go, you can see the Wii is all hooked up, all nice and ready to play, and I've been playing a little bit of Rodea the Sky Soldier, which is actually a really good game on the Wii, despite the fact that the Wii U version of the game is really bad. This version is incredible, and I really want to do a video on it at some point. This is also the first time that I've played it on a CRT, and it looks absolutely stunning as well. So that's enough about the TV. I'm sure you can tell I'm extremely happy about this, but I've also got some more really cool stuff to show you in this episode. And before we move on as well, I actually just passed 50,000 subscribers, which is an incredible milestone. I'm more than halfway now to a silver play button, which will hopefully be up there on the wall at some point in the near future. Just thank you so much for the support. It really means the world to me. I put an insane amount of time and effort into this channel, and you honestly have no idea how much of my life I have dedicated to YouTube. So it's just so amazing to see these results after so much hard work. So on the screen over here now, I can have OBS on here with the chat on this side right next to the screen that I'll be playing on, so I can stream, I can record the games, and it's all linked up to the computer on that side of the room. And I've got a few more cables going up and around into the computer on that side as well, so really happy with how this is set up. I've got a wireless mouse here, and I've left my old wireless keyboard actually. Let me just switch it off so I can pick it up. I've left my old Logitech wireless keyboard actually here underneath the screen, so if I need to do anything on the computer on here while I'm streaming, maybe I need to write to someone, I need to type in a URL or something, or copy something into chat, I can bring over my mouse, I can use this keyboard just by switching it on, it automatically connects, and then I've basically got a full computer setup right here as well without needing to go back over the other side of the room. So let's turn on one of the consoles again, and you can see the new stream and recording layouts that I've got, and there's something very exciting regarding streams as well. So I've been playing some Metal Gear Solid here on the PlayStation 1, and I've found out exactly what causes the signal issues on the Morph 4K. So if I move forward very slightly on here, there'll be a red light at the top of the screen here, and as soon as that red light appears, the signal on the Morph will break. Watch this. Instantly, as soon as that light comes on the screen. And even then, it took a while to come back on, so it's working okay now. I'll walk forward just a little bit. There's the light, and the signal's gone. So there must be something going on that's like, when the contrast in a scene or when certain colours appear, the signal will just die. And that explains why it's been happening in the cutscenes more than the gameplay, because the cutscenes have like different brightness and different colours and contrast and things. So potentially there's a massive problem there with the analog bridge on the Morph 4K. I really don't know how to fix it. Literally about 10 minutes after recording that video, someone very helpfully on Blue Sky gave me some advice. So I tried it out and it worked. So all you need to do is change this setting here, the sync on green setting, down to 2.5 from its default of 10 MHz. And now that situation has been completely resolved. I recorded a lot more of the game yesterday and it's all working absolutely perfectly. I still haven't figured out how to get the capture card to automatically display what's coming through it, so I still need to go here, go down to input, go up to port A, go down to RGB, press OK, wait for it to reset, change the scaling options so it fits on the screen properly. There's still a lot of hassle and a lot of unnecessary faffing around that I need to do to get that up and running. But when it does, I've got it all nicely set up, so you can see I'll be playing the games here on the CRT, which looks incredible. And you guys and girls who are watching the streams can also see a really nice output using the Morph 4K and the analog bridge that I talked about in the last episode. But let me show you something really cool. So I'm on the floor for this section because right here on the floor behind me is actually a roll-up green screen, and I can actually use that with the streaming software. So I'm going to put this up now and we can see how it looks. So all I need to do is bring this round into the middle of the room, and then there's a handle here that I can use to just The box is in the way. I'm still trying to sort out all the shelves and trying to free up some more space in this room, so I'm going to have to move this box out of the way first. Make sure this is all the way across. I just managed to measure it exactly perfectly for the space that I've got between the wall and the desk. And that's in the way as well. I need to make sure nothing is sticking out from these shelves at all for this. So, right, let's try now. Should be able to just lift that up, and there is just enough space. There we go, it worked that time. So there you go, you can see the green screen is up there now. So let's have a look on the stream itself and see how this works. So I am working with very, very limited space here. So this is all the room I've got to work with. I'll have the chair there. There's the TV in front of me. There's the green screen behind me. And down there on the floor, still trying to see whether there's a better way of doing this, but there's actually this light here, and if I put that in the corner like that, and now I've lost the remote for the light, so let me go and find that. Right, got it. And also I've got the fan right there as well, because it's insanely hot in the UK at the minute, and I would not live without that fan keeping me cool in this room, because it's just ridiculous. The sun is on the window on that side of the room all day, and this room heats up to like 30 something degrees, and there's nothing I can do about it. So at least I've got this to try and keep me cool a little bit. Anyway, let's turn this on. Okay, so you can see the lights on there as well, and that will help light up the green screen behind me. The next piece of this streaming puzzle is a webcam, and you might have seen in the last episode that I was planning on using my camera, my old camera, as a webcam. Well, I have some bad news about that. So here's my old camera that I was planning to use as a webcam, and I could have just had it up here and it would have looked amazing. But because I was using a dummy battery that actually plugs in using a regular plug with a regular cable, I mistook the plug that was meant for the battery with the plug that was meant for this light back here, and I got them mixed up, and I pumped 12 volts into something that should have only had 9, and now the camera won't turn on. So this camera is just dead at the minute. I don't know whether I can get it fixed. Maybe I can see whether the insurance can do something about it, but for now it is completely out of action, which is very upsetting because it was still a perfectly good camera. So what I've had to do for now instead is to use my webcam that I use for work. So come with me. So up here on the screen, here's my webcam that I use for work, my USB-C webcam, which was actually a sponsor for this channel, the OBSBot. So I actually use this now all the time. So thank you, OBSBot. This video is not sponsored, but it is a great webcam. So anyway, what I've been doing is undoing the USB-C attachment and bringing this all the way to the other side of the room. So now I've got the camera, what I can do is, I'll put the microphone there so you can hopefully still hear me, is plug it in using this USB-C cable, which goes all the way around the room into the computer on the other side, and then balance that. Let's see whether that works. So with the light up here, the one that broke my camera, I can actually switch this on. It looks really bright like that, but it actually works perfectly for OBS. So if I move it back round, there's the seat. If I put it like that, maybe? So now this is what it looks like from my perspective. We've got the green screen behind. We have the light down there lighting up the green screen so that OBS can pick it up properly. I've got the webcam in front of me. I've got the light on behind the screen. And here's the result in OBS. So this is what it's actually going to look like while I'm streaming. So let's boot up Rodea now so we can actually see it in action. But obviously, there was another problem that I needed to address. I don't want to hold this microphone, so I tried out a whole bunch of different ideas. I tried using AirPods, for example. I tried using the clip-on lav mic and linking that up to the audio software on that side of the room with a big long cable. It didn't really work properly, it didn't feel very good. So what I've done is actually maybe a little bit overboard, but I think it will work really well, so let's try it out. So, hi from the other side of the green screen. There really isn't much room in here. So this is the microphone that I use, normally. It's here on this mic arm. It's a really nice XLR microphone, and if you've watched any of my videos before, you know how great the sound quality is from this. So I was really trying to come up with a way of using this microphone on that side of the room, which seemed like an impossible challenge, but then I thought of something. So how am I going to do this? Let me see if I can bring the camera inside. So here's the microphone. As you can see, it uses an XLR cable which is attached to this mic arm, which then goes around the desk onto here, which is the Behringer UV1 that I've mentioned before, and this is what does all of the audio processing. And then obviously that feeds it out into the laptop, which records it into GarageBand, which is right there. But I was thinking, how can I use this one XLR input to actually have two cables, one of them going to that side of the room, and one of them stay in here for like whenever I do a video at the desk, which will be whenever I'm not streaming, which is what this clamp here is for. I found out you can actually get XLR cables that split in two. So this is actually now a split XLR cable with one end going directly into the microphone and the other end coming here into the wall where all the other cables are also going. I've also tried to do a little bit of cable management with this, but the other end of the XLR cable actually ends here. And then I bought an extension, so another XLR cable, like a 6-meter one, that begins here, goes all the way up there. There's also the USB extender for the webcam. That one clips in there, that's like a two-way USB cable. So the XLR, the USB cable, two HDMI cables, all coming up here, all the way across the ceiling, with using loads of these clips, as you can see, everywhere to hold it all in place. All the way around here, past my Super Monkey Ball box of super quality bananas, all the way down the side here into these different cables, which I probably need to do something to attach them all together as well. But anyway, one of those XLR cables ends up here, and what I did with that was I bought myself this, which is the Elgato low profile mic arm, so I can just spin this out like this. So that actually reaches perfectly to where the chair is, so then I can sit here. I'll be able to have the microphone on this, plug it in with the same XLR cable that I'm using on that side of the room, and then be able to stream. And as far as OBS or the PC is aware, I'm using exactly the same connection that I was using over there. So that was one part of my microphone problem down, but how do I actually unplug the microphone from that side of the room and bring it over here without it being too awkward? Well, let me show you what I've figured for that. So, hello, we are on the other side of the room now. The camera's in its regular place. The microphone's being used as normal, going straight into GarageBand. The green screen is behind me. This is what it looks like on the other side. But how do I get the microphone over there? So I'm going to keep the recording going, and I'll show you how I actually change the microphone around to move it over to that side of the room. So if you can see on the camera here, we actually have this, which is a brand new attachment, which is actually made up of a previous attachment that I already had. So I can squeeze that and actually take the microphone itself off, detach the XLR cable just like that. That will cut out the sound coming from GarageBand, so we're now back onto the mic here. So here's what the microphone looks like. This is a Ulanzi tripod adapter, and I absolutely love these. I've got these dotted all around the room. So one of them I just attached onto the end of this using a few different adapters there. So the mic arm now just has one of these tripod clips on it. So basically, something really cool with this now, if I wanted to attach the camera on here or attach something like the Osmo Pocket, I can actually now just clip it onto the mic arm and then use it as a movable camera tripod as well. So if I wanted some more unique shots or something, or if I wanted to maybe get a different top-down angle, I can actually just do this now, and I could even just attach the camera that I'm using right now onto this arm. So that's kind of like two brand new uses for the mic arm without it actually meaning to be. So that was really cool, but the main thing is that I've now got the microphone separately. So let's go back over there and I'll plug it back in, and hopefully I can just talk straight into this and the sound will be picked up instantly by GarageBand. So let's try and squeeze back over to the other side of the green screen. All right, so now we're back on this side of the room. Here's the mic arm, as you can see, coming out from the desk in front of me. Here's the microphone. All I should need to do is clip it on there. There we go, now the microphone's attached. Pull out the XLR cable, and hopefully that means that we now have sound back on the main microphone. So let's see whether OBS can actually pick this up now and see how a proper stream might look with this new setup. So if this is working properly, we've now got the game, we've now got the microphone plugged in. I don't know how the sound quality is, let me know if anything needs fixing, but as far as I can tell, everything looks fine. It looks a little bit like the microphone's disappearing into the background, so I need to do something with the background removal. But honestly, I really do feel like I'm very close to getting a really good streaming and recording setup where I can just sit here and relax and play on a CRT and also capture footage at the same time. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. So while I'm still not 100% satisfied and there's a lot of issues with the consoles down there, I really do feel like things are coming together quite nicely. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let me know what you think I can improve based on what you've seen in this video. I hope you all enjoyed this update on my game room and my retro gaming journey. Join me again very soon in part 3 where we can take a look at some of the modifications that I'm hopefully planning to do with some of the consoles. That's it for now. Check out part 1 up there and I'll see you all again very soon. Goodbye.